How did my husband stand on a stage, take the mic, and make our divorce real in front of everyone? Why did a stranger, in a neat suit, hand me papers right after I smiled for the camera? Can a small kiss still end a 10-year marriage in one public minute? My name is Morwenna Pike, but everyone calls me Wenna because my real name sounds like a poem, and I do not live in a poem. I worked as a marketing coordinator at a home services company. I liked clean plans, clean photos, clean stories. I believed stories mattered more than feelings, because stories decided who looked right. That morning, our kitchen felt small. The winter light sat on the counter like dust. Ethan stood by the sink with his work mug, the one with the faded logo. He did not look at me much. He moved like he was already late, even though his watch said he had time. He asked if I was going to the party meeting later. I said yes and told him it would be fun for us. I watched his face for a reaction. He only nodded. That made me angry, but I acted calm. I told myself he did this on purpose. I told myself he wanted me to feel plain. I told myself I had to fix it, because a 10th anniversary was not just a date, it was a stage. People would look at us and decide what we were. I needed them to see a strong couple. I needed them to see me as the wife who still had value. Ethan asked why I had my phone in my hand so early. I said I was checking work emails. He glanced at the screen, not like a guard, but like a tired man who did not trust the air in the room. I lifted my chin and asked why he always assumed the worst. He said he was not assuming anything and asked if I could just put the phone down for breakfast. I said he was being controlling, and I reminded him I had a job too. I said he should respect that. Kira came in with her hair messy, and Noah followed, dragging his blanket. Kira asked if Dad was coming to her school thing on Friday. Ethan said yes. I smiled like we were fine. I touched Ethan's arm, but it was a performance touch, not a warm one. I told the kids that Dad was just tired because he worked so hard for us. I said it like praise, but it was also a message. He was the heavy, serious one, and I was the life. When Ethan went to get his coat, I saw his phone light up on the counter. A calendar reminder flashed for a second. It read, Downtown, 10:20 a.m. I did not know what it meant. I told myself it was probably a work site. Still, he turned the screen down fast, like he did not want me to see it. I asked what the reminder was. He said it was nothing important and that he had to go. I said it sounded important if it needed an alert. He sighed and said he did not want to argue in front of the kids. I said I was not arguing. I said I was asking like a wife who cared. He left, and the door closed with a soft, final sound. For a moment, I hated how quiet the house became. Quiet makes room for questions. I did not want questions. I wanted a clean story. Ethan was distant, I was trying, and anyone would understand why I needed attention. At the office, the noise helped. The open plan room was full of keyboards and coffee smell. My coworker Olivia asked about the anniversary party because she had seen the save the date post. I said it would be big and classy. I said Ethan and I were finally doing something nice after a hard year. Olivia asked if Ethan was excited. I said he was not the party type, and I laughed like it was cute. I made it sound like his flaw was harmless, like a quirky trait. Inside, I made it sharper. I wanted people to think I carried the fun on my back. My phone buzzed with a message from Caleb. He was a sales rep who floated through our building like he owned the air. He wrote that he hoped I was not stuck in another boring wife morning. He added a wink emoji. I should have ignored it. I did not. I typed back that I was fine, that my life was just busy. Then I added that I deserved a little fun sometimes. It felt like breathing after holding my breath. Olivia walked past and glanced at my screen. She asked if everything was okay. I said it was a client. I said clients always had jokes and weird messages. She looked unsure, but she did not push. At lunch, Caleb appeared near the break room. He asked if I wanted to walk outside for a few minutes. I said I could not because I had a meeting. He said the meeting could wait. He said I looked stressed. I told him I was not stressed, and I told myself I was in control. Still, I followed him to the lobby doors. I told myself it was normal. I told myself it was networking. I told myself Ethan would not understand, because Ethan did not understand social value. Caleb asked why I always tried to be perfect. I said I had to, because my home life was heavy. He asked if my husband treated me well. I said Ethan was a good man, but he had stopped seeing me. That was my favorite kind of lie, the kind that sounded like truth. I did not say Ethan was cruel. I did not say he screamed. I just said he did not see me. That made me look reasonable. When I got back to my desk, my cheeks felt warm. I checked my phone again, even though I told Ethan I did not do that. I liked the double life feeling. It made me feel important. Later, Ethan called me once. I let it ring. Then I sent a quick text that I was in back-to-back meetings. It was true in a way. My whole day was meetings with myself, with my image, with my need to win. That evening, I stopped at the supermarket. The checkout line was long. A man behind me coughed into his elbow. The cashier scanned items slowly. I watched the total climb and thought about how Ethan would complain if I bought the nicer cheese for the party board. Ethan did not complain loudly. He just asked questions with that calm tone, like a manager reading numbers. When I got home, the kitchen lights were on, but the house still felt split. Ethan sat at the table with his laptop open. He looked up when I entered, and his eyes were too steady. He asked how my day was. I said it was hard and that I was exhausted. He asked why I did not answer his call. I said I was in meetings and could not pick up. He said he understood, but his voice did not match the words. I put the grocery bags down and started telling him about party ideas, fast and bright. I told him we should invite more people and that it would show how strong we were. He asked why it had to be so big. I said because 10 years mattered and because I wanted a real celebration for once. I said it like he had denied me something. He looked at the screen again. I noticed he had a spreadsheet open. I could not read the title from where I stood. I saw columns with dates. I saw neat rows. It made my chest tighten. I asked what he was working on. He said he was organizing things. I asked what things. He said household stuff. He closed the laptop a little, not slamming it, just angling it away. I felt a sudden fear, but I covered it with anger. I told him he was acting strange lately. I said he was cold, and I said he was making me feel alone. He asked what I wanted from him. I said I wanted him to try. I said a marriage needed effort from both people. He did not argue. He stood and rinsed his mug. He asked if I could keep my voice down because the kids could hear. I said I was not yelling. I said he always acted like I was the problem, even when I was the only one trying to fix us. Then Kira appeared at the doorway in her pajamas. She asked if we were mad. Ethan said we were not mad and that we were just tired. I smiled at her and said Dad was just stressed from work. Ethan did not correct me. When I went upstairs, I passed the guest room. The door was slightly open. I saw the bed look too neat, like it had been made on purpose. I told myself he was doing it for attention. I told myself he wanted me to chase him. Still, when I lay down that night, I could not stop thinking about the calendar reminder and the spreadsheet. Ethan had always been steady, but now his steadiness felt like something else. It felt like planning. And planning, I knew, could beat performance. By Wednesday, I had already decided the anniversary party would not be about Ethan. It would be about me. I told myself a wife deserved a spotlight after 10 years. I told myself I had carried the emotional weight while Ethan carried tools and schedules. I did not say that out loud to him, but I said it to my friends in a way that made them nod. Nina texted me in the afternoon and asked if I was still coming out. She said we needed to reset my energy before the party. I replied that I could, but only for a little while. I added a smiley face, like I was harmless. I could feel the thrill before it even happened. At home, Ethan was on the floor with Noah, building a block tower. Kira colored at the coffee table. It was normal. It looked like a good family. That made me feel trapped, because normal is a mirror. It shows you what you should be. Ethan asked what time I would be back. I said I would be back early. He asked where we were going. I said a rooftop bar downtown, just for one drink. He said he did not care where I went, but he asked if I could keep it quiet because he had an early start. I heard the words, but I translated them into something else. In my head, it meant he was trying to control me again. I told him he was always tired and always scheduling my life like a project. He asked why I was angry before I even left. I said I was not angry, and I said he was being sensitive. I said it was my anniversary too, and I was allowed to have fun. He did not fight. He only nodded and asked if I needed cash for the babysitter. I said no because I wanted to look independent. Upstairs, I changed clothes and did my makeup slower than usual. I looked at my face in the mirror and practiced a soft smile. I told myself I was not doing anything wrong. I told myself Ethan had left me emotionally first. That line felt useful, like a key. When I came down, Ethan was washing dishes. He asked if I wanted him to put the kids to bed. I said yes and thanked him in a quick, polite way. Kira hugged my waist and asked if she could come. I said no and told her it was adult time. She asked if Dad could come instead. I laughed and said Dad would be bored there. Ethan heard it, but he did not react. That annoyed me more than anger would have. At the rooftop bar, the air smelled like sweet drinks and cold metal railings. The city lights looked like a necklace. Nina waved at me with both hands. 2 other friends were there too, Jessa and Maren. They were already taking photos of their glasses, even before they drank. Nina asked how things were at home. I said Ethan was acting distant. I said he was punishing me with silence. Jessa asked if he had always been like that. I said no, but that he had changed. I said it like I had no part in it. Maren asked if Ethan was jealous of my job and my social life. I said he did not like that people noticed me. Nina leaned in and said I needed a man who celebrated me. She said it loud enough for the table next to us to hear. I smiled and let it happen. They started joking about Ethan. Nina said he probably set alarms for hugs. Jessa said he looked like the type who asked permission to laugh. I did not correct them. I added a small comment that Ethan could be serious and stiff. They laughed harder. It felt like power. It felt like I was not the bad one. Then Caleb showed up like it was planned, even though I told myself it was random. He acted surprised to see me. He asked if I was celebrating something. I said it was almost my anniversary. He raised his eyebrows and said my husband was lucky. Nina introduced herself too fast. She asked Caleb where he had been hiding. He said he was always around. He asked me if I wanted to dance later, like it was a joke. I said I did not dance. Nina said I should because life was short. Caleb stood close when he talked. He asked if Ethan ever took me out like this. I said not really. That was not fair, but it was easy. Ethan had taken me out before. I just did not want to remember it because it did not help my story. My phone buzzed. It was Ethan. I looked at the screen and did not answer. Nina saw the name and made a face. She asked if he was checking on me. I said yes and rolled my eyes. Caleb smiled like he understood. That made me feel chosen. Ethan called again. I stepped away and answered, because I wanted to sound annoyed on purpose. He asked if I was okay, and if I knew what time it was. I said I was fine, and that it was not late. He said he only asked because Kira had asked for me. I said he should handle it because he was their dad too. He said he was handling it, and he said he just wanted to know my plan. I said I would be home soon. When I returned to the table, Nina asked what he wanted. I said he was being controlling again. Jessa said I should set boundaries. Maren said men like Ethan only learned when they got scared. Caleb listened with a small smile. like I was a story he liked. Nina took a group photo and told me to stand next to Caleb. I did. She posted it right away. She tagged me and wrote something about hot wives and freedom. I laughed and told myself it was just fun. I did not think about how it would look to anyone else. Or maybe I did, and I liked that. Later, Caleb offered to get me a drink. I said yes. He came back with something sweet and bright. He asked if I felt seen. I said I did not know. He said I should not waste my best years waiting for a man to wake up. I nodded like it was wisdom, not temptation. When it was time to leave, Nina called a rideshare for me because she said I should not drive. In the back seat, I watched the city pass and checked the photo again. I read the comments. Some people wrote fire emojis. One coworker liked it. I felt proud, then nervous, then proud again. At home, the driveway was dark. The house lights were on, but the windows looked cold. I opened the door quietly. Inside, everything smelled like dish soap and bedtime. Ethan stood in the hall in sweatpants, not angry, not loud, just awake. He asked if I had fun. I said yes. He asked why I posted a photo with a man from work. I said it was just a photo and that he was overreacting. He asked why my friends wrote comments about me being free. I said Nina was dramatic and Ethan should not read into it. He asked if I respected him. I said of course I did, and I said he was acting insecure. I said he was ruining the anniversary mood before it even started. He did not raise his voice. He only nodded and walked toward the guest room. I followed him, still talking. I told him he could not police my friendships. I told him other husbands were not like this. He stopped at the guest room door and opened it. The room was neat. The bed was made tight. A small lamp was on. He said he wanted space to sleep because he had work early. I said he was trying to punish me. He said he was not punishing me, and he said he was choosing calm. He asked me to stop turning everything into a fight. I heard a small click when he closed the drawer of the nightstand. It sounded like a lock. I stared at it for a second. He did not explain it. He did not have to. The quiet felt like a wall. I went back to our bedroom and lay down, but my body did not rest. My phone buzzed with another comment on the photo. I told myself Ethan would get over it. I told myself I deserved attention. Still, I could not stop hearing that drawer click in my mind, like a door shutting in slow motion. The next day at work, I kept my smile on like a badge. I walked in with my coffee and acted like nothing had happened. I told myself the photo was harmless. I told myself Ethan's quiet reaction meant he had no real reason, only feelings. Feelings are easy to dismiss if you say the right words. In the open plan office, Olivia waved at me from her desk. She asked if I was feeling better because I looked tired yesterday. I said I was fine and that home life was busy. She asked if the party planning was stressing me out. I said it was good stress, and I laughed. My manager sent a reminder about timesheets. I opened the system and stared at my lunch breaks. I had logged them as 30 minutes, but lately they were not 30 minutes. They were longer, and I knew it. The system showed a small history note that a change had been made. I had edited it twice already this week because I did not want questions. I told myself I was allowed to bend time. I told myself I gave the company results. I said respect follows results, and I had results. That line always made me feel clean inside, like I could wash away anything with it. Near noon, Caleb messaged me again. He wrote that he liked how bold I looked in the rooftop photo. He said he was thinking about my smile. I could have stopped it there. Instead, I replied that I was not bold, just tired of feeling invisible. I made it sound like Ethan had done something cruel, even though Ethan had only asked for basic respect. Caleb asked if I could meet for a quick walk, just to breathe. I said I had a meeting. He replied that meetings could be moved. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. Then I wrote that I could do a short walk, but only for 10 minutes. I told myself I was being careful. I told myself I was not cheating because there was no big act. I told myself it was only talking. But I also knew I was hiding it, and hiding is a choice. At 12:10, I told Olivia I was stepping out for a client call. She asked if I wanted her to cover the phone line. I said yes, and I thanked her too sweetly. She looked at me for a second, like she did not believe me. I acted like I did not notice. Outside, the air was cold and sharp. Caleb met me near the corner and said he liked seeing me away from my desk. He asked if Ethan ever did lunch dates anymore. I said he never had time. That was not fully true, but truth did not help me. I wanted a clean villain, and I needed Ethan to fit that shape. Caleb suggested we walk by the river. I said it was too far. He said it was worth it. We went anyway. On the riverside promenade, people walked dogs and pushed strollers. The water looked grey. Caleb asked if I was happy in my marriage. I said I used to be, and then I said Ethan changed. I said Ethan stopped touching me and stopped noticing me. I said it like I was describing weather, like it was something that happened to me and not something I helped create. Caleb asked what I wanted. I said I wanted to feel wanted. He said I deserved that. He told me my husband should be afraid to lose me. I liked that sentence too much. It made me feel powerful, like I was the prize and Ethan was the one failing. I checked the time and saw we had already been out longer than I said. I told Caleb I had to go. He asked if he could see me at the party. I laughed and said it was a family event. He said he liked family events. He said he could behave. I told him not to be weird. He asked if I was scared. I said I was not scared. I was. But I did not say it. Back at the office, Olivia was waiting near my desk. She asked where I had gone because a call came in for me. I said I was in the lobby with bad signal. She asked why my timesheet showed 2 edits this week. I said the system was glitchy and I had to fix it. She said it was strange because the system did not glitch for her. I smiled and said she was lucky. She asked if everything at home was okay. I said yes, and then I added that Ethan had been moody lately. I said it softly, like concern. I wanted Olivia to see Ethan as a problem without me looking mean. Olivia nodded, but her eyes stayed careful. She did not join my story the way Nina did. Later, Ethan texted me and asked what time I was picking up the kids. I replied that I would do it at normal time. He asked if I could also pick up some cold medicine for Noah because he was coughing. I said yes. For a second, I felt something like guilt. It was small and quick. Then I told myself Ethan was using the kids to pull me back into his control. I told myself I was still the victim. That made the guilt disappear. At the daycare pickup line, cars sat close together. Parents looked tired. Ethan was not supposed to be there, but I saw his truck ahead. He must have gotten off early. That annoyed me, because I did not like surprises from him. When I walked up, Ethan was holding Noah's coat and talking to the teacher. He turned when he saw me and asked if I was okay because I looked flushed. I said I was fine and that work was busy. He asked if I could talk for a minute about the party guest list. I said we could talk at home. Kira climbed into the back seat and started talking fast. She asked why Dad slept in the other room sometimes. Ethan said he slept there when he needed rest. I jumped in and said Dad was being dramatic because he liked space. I tried to laugh to make it light. Ethan's jaw tightened, but he did not argue. As we drove, Kira looked out the window and then said, very clear, that Mum said Dad was boring. She said it like it was a normal fact. I felt my face heat up. I looked at the mirror and saw another parent in the next car glance over. Ethan did not shout. He did not pull over. He only asked Kira where she heard that. Kira said she heard me say it and that Nina laughed. Ethan said that words could hurt, and he asked her not to repeat hurtful words. He said it calmly, like a teacher. I wanted to blame him for the awkward moment, so I did. I told him he was making it a big deal. He asked why I said those things in front of the kids. I said I did not say it like that. I said he was twisting it. I said he always twisted everything. At home, Ethan made soup for Noah and helped Kira with her shoes. He did normal dad things. That made me angrier, because it made me look unstable. I needed him to be the villain, not the steady parent. After the kids went to bed, I came downstairs and saw Ethan at the table again. His laptop was open, but he shut it when I entered, slow and smooth. I caught a glimpse of columns and dates again. I also saw a phone screen with a thread name that only said follow up. When he noticed me looking, he turned the phone face down. I asked what he was doing. He said he was organizing household details. I asked why he was doing it now. He said because it needed to be done. I said he was acting secretive. He asked why I called everything secretive when he was simply being quiet. I told him he was punishing me with silence. He asked how silence was punishment if it stopped fights. I said because it made me feel alone. He said he could not fix my feelings if I kept pushing him away and then blaming him. I wanted to win that moment, so I changed the rules. I said he did not care about me anymore. I said he cared more about spreadsheets than his wife. He looked at me for a long second and then nodded once, like he was noting it, not swallowing it. He went to the guest room without slamming doors. I stayed in the kitchen, staring at the dark laptop screen reflection. For the first time, I wondered if my performance was becoming a record instead of a story. Sunday dinner at Ethan's parents' house was supposed to be safe. That is what I told myself as I drove there with the kids in the back. Safe meant predictable. Safe meant I could smile, eat, and leave with a good photo for my page. Ethan drove behind us in his truck because he said he needed to stop somewhere first. I asked where. He said it was just an errand. I wanted to ask more, but I remembered the downtown 10:20 a.m. reminder and how he turned his screen down. I did not want to look nervous, so I acted like I did not care. At the in-laws' house, Daphne opened the door with her polite face. Russ stood behind her with a slow nod. The living room smelled like roast and lemon cleaner. Kira ran in to show her drawing. Noah stayed close to Ethan's leg. Daphne asked how work was. I said it was busy and that I carried a lot. I said it like a joke, but it was also a message. I wanted them to see me as the one holding things together. Russ asked Ethan if his new project site was going well. Ethan said it was fine and that he was keeping things organized. His voice was calm, like a flat road. At the table, I brought up the anniversary party plans. I said we were doing it at the hotel ballroom, and it would be a real celebration. I said I wanted to honor 10 years. I looked at Ethan when I said it, waiting for him to disagree so I could react. Ethan did not disagree. He only said we had a budget and a guest list, and we should keep it simple. I heard simple as an insult. Simple sounded like small. Small sounded like invisible. I smiled and said simple was fine if he wanted a boring evening. I said it lightly, but it landed. Daphne's eyes moved to Ethan's face, then to mine. Russ cleared his throat. Daphne asked what kind of music we would have. I said something fun, not like Ethan's dad music. I laughed. I expected the room to laugh with me. Russ gave a short smile, but it did not reach his eyes. Daphne did not smile at all. Ethan asked if we could not joke like that in front of the kids. I said I was joking. I said everyone was too sensitive. I said laughter was healthy. Ethan nodded once, like he was letting it go, but his hand stayed still on his plate. My mother arrived late, wearing a bright scarf and a loud mood. She kissed my cheek and asked if Ethan was still acting strange. I said he was tired and moody. My mother said men did that when they got comfortable. She said women had to remind them what they could lose. She looked at Ethan when she said it, like a warning. Ethan did not argue. He asked if she wanted water. He stood and brought her a glass like a host. That bothered me because it made him look mature. I needed him to look cold. After dinner, Kira asked to play in the basement. Daphne took her down. Noah fell asleep on the couch. The adults stayed upstairs with coffee. My mother started talking about the party again. She said I should wear something hot and make Ethan remember he married a real woman. She asked Ethan if he was ready to step up. Ethan said he was ready to attend his own party and keep the focus on family. My mother laughed and said he always sounded like a brochure. I joined her laugh. I added that Ethan acted like fun was a chore. I said it was hard to feel loved when your husband treated you like a schedule. I watched Daphne's face while I said it. I wanted her to side with me. She did not. Daphne asked if we were having problems. Ethan said every marriage had stress and he was working on it. I spoke fast before he could say more. I said we were fine, and I said Ethan just got jealous sometimes. I said he worried too much about what other men thought. I said it like a small flaw, like a harmless habit. Russ asked what I meant. I said Ethan did not like me going out with friends. Ethan looked at me and asked when he had stopped me from going out. I said he did not stop me, but his attitude made it feel like he did. Ethan asked how someone's attitude could control another adult. I said he was twisting my words again. Daphne asked Ethan if he felt jealous. Ethan said he felt disrespected sometimes. He said respect mattered in a family. My mother rolled her eyes and said respect had to be earned, not demanded. I felt proud of her for saying it because it sounded strong. I did not see how ugly it was until later. Ethan asked if she was saying he had not earned respect after 10 years of providing for his children and showing up every day. My mother said providing was the minimum. She said a woman needed romance. She said if a man stopped trying, he could not be shocked when a woman looked elsewhere. She did not say cheat, but she shaped the idea in the air. I nodded like it was truth. I told myself it was truth. I told myself I had needs. Needs are always a good excuse because nobody can argue with needs without looking cruel. Ethan did not shout. He did not slam a fist. He only looked at Russ and asked if he could help him carry some things to the truck. Russ stood and said sure. They walked out together into the night, leaving me with Daphne and my mother. In the quiet, Daphne asked me if I understood what my mother was implying. I said she was only being supportive. Daphne asked if I was being honest with myself. I said yes. Daphne said Ethan was not perfect, but he was a lawful and steady man, and steady men did not deserve public jokes. I felt a flash of anger. I told Daphne she did not know how it felt to be unseen. Daphne said being unseen did not give a person the right to cut others down. I said she was taking his side because she was his mother. Daphne said she was taking the children's side because children learned how to love by watching adults. When Ethan came back inside, his face looked calm but different, like he had moved something heavy off his chest and put it down somewhere else. On the drive home, Ethan asked if we could talk about boundaries for the party. I said boundaries were for people who did not trust each other. He said trust needed behavior, not speeches. I said he was acting like a police officer. He said he was acting like a father and a husband who wanted peace. In the garage, the air was cold. The car door closed with a hollow sound. Ethan asked if I had been meeting Caleb. I froze for half a second, then I laughed. I asked why he even said that name. He said he saw the tagged photo and he saw the lunch gap in my schedule because the daycare app showed when I arrived, and it did not match what I told him. He said it like he was reading weather again, not like he was attacking. I said he was tracking me. I said that was creepy. I said only insecure men did that. Ethan asked how he could be insecure if he was simply noticing facts. I said facts could be twisted. I said he always twisted facts. Ethan's phone made a soft beep as he set it on the shelf by the laundry area. I did not see the screen, but I heard the sound. It reminded me of an app starting. I stared at it. Ethan did not explain. He only asked me to stop calling him names when he asked simple questions. I walked past him into the house, holding my anger like a shield. Behind me, Ethan stayed in the garage for a moment longer, quiet and still. When he finally came inside, he did not look like a man about to explode. He looked like a man taking notes. By the week of the party, the house felt like two lanes that did not touch. In the mornings, Ethan moved around me without bumping me. He made coffee with his own mug and set it on the far side of the counter. I told myself he did that to punish me. I told myself he wanted me to beg. I did not beg. I performed. In the guest room doorway, I saw his extra pillow and a folded hoodie on the chair. The bed looked made tight, like a hotel bed. I stood there longer than I should have, waiting for a sign that he missed me. He did not come out. I heard a quiet drawer slide and a small click, like a lock settling. My skin prickled. I told myself it was normal. I told myself he was just being weird. At breakfast, Kira asked why Dad slept in the other room. Ethan said he slept there to rest and to keep the house calm. I cut in and told her Dad was sensitive lately and needed space. I said it like a joke so it would sound light. Ethan looked at me and asked me not to label him in front of the kids. I said I was not labeling. I said he was hearing things the wrong way. Noah had a cough, and Ethan asked if I could pick up medicine on my way home. I said yes, and acted like he was asking too much, even though it was small. I did not want to admit he was still doing normal husband things, because it made my story weak. At work, I kept my phone face down on the desk, but I still checked it when nobody looked. Caleb sent a message asking what dress I was wearing to the party. He wrote that a 10th anniversary sounded romantic, and he asked if I was sure I wanted to spend it with a man who did not see me. I should have stopped answering him. Instead, I wrote that I wanted to feel alive for one night. I told myself it was a harmless thought. Thoughts were not crimes. Still, I erased and rewrote the message twice before sending, like I was polishing something dirty. Olivia came by with a folder and asked if I had time to review a campaign draft. I said yes, and I made my voice bright. She paused and asked if everything was okay at home because I seemed tense. I said Ethan had been cold, and I was tired of walking on eggshells. Olivia did not agree or disagree. She only nodded slowly, like she was storing the information instead of swallowing it. That afternoon, my mum called me during a break. She asked if I was standing up for myself or letting Ethan control the party. I said I was standing up for myself. She said good, and she reminded me that men respected women who had options. I did not like the word options, but I liked the power behind it. When I got to the supermarket, the parking lot was full, and the wind made carts bump together. Inside, the checkout line was long. I held a basket with medicine, snacks for the party, and a fancy cheese Ethan would call unnecessary. The cashier scanned items, and the screen total climbed. I felt a tightness in my chest, because money had started to feel like a test. Ethan had been asking more questions about spending. He asked for receipts lately. He did not accuse. He just asked. That was worse because it sounded reasonable. My phone buzzed while I waited. It was Ethan asking if I could also grab cough drops. I replied yes. Then Nina texted and asked if I was still going to let him sulk, or if I was going to make the night legendary. I stared at her words and felt my anger return, warm and easy. Legendary sounded better than responsible. At home, Ethan was at the table with a notepad and his laptop. When I walked in, he did not slam it shut. He only turned the screen slightly. I saw a clean set of tabs near the top, but I could not read them. I smelled something like toner, faint, like a printer had been used recently. It made me think of forms and offices and things I did not want to imagine. He asked if Noah's medicine was in the bag. I said yes. He asked for the receipt. I said why, like he was insulting me. He said he was tracking party costs, so we stayed on budget. I said he cared more about numbers than feelings. He said numbers kept the lights on. I said I knew that. I said I was not stupid. Kira came in and asked if she could wear a sparkly dress to the party. I said yes right away. Ethan said we could pick one together that fit school rules too. I rolled my eyes and said he always made fun boring. He asked me to stop mocking him in front of her. I said I was joking again. Later, Daphne called Ethan and asked if she should take the kids overnight during the party. Ethan said yes, and he thanked her. When he hung up, he told me the plan calmly. I said it sounded like his mother was trying to take control. He asked how childcare was control. I said it made it look like we were not stable. He said the kids sleeping at their grandmother's made it easier for them, not for him. My mom called again and said Ethan's mother taking the kids was a move. She said I should not let Ethan and his family build a story where I was the problem. I said I understood. Then I repeated that line to myself in the shower. Do not let them build a story. That was the real fight. Stories. The next day, we went to the hotel ballroom for a final walkthrough. The hall smelled like carpet cleaner and flowers. Jordan, the event manager, showed us the stage, the mic, the photo booth corner, the table plan. Jordan asked if we wanted a moment for toasts. I said yes right away. Ethan said a short toast was fine. Jordan asked what message we wanted the night to have. I said love and fun and a fresh start. Ethan looked at me for a long second, and then he said he wanted peace and respect. I smiled like that was the same thing. As we walked past the stage, I watched Ethan's eyes move over the room. He did not look confused. He looked focused. He checked his phone once, and I saw a plain alarm label for a second. Paper drop. He clicked it off fast. My heart tapped hard, but I kept my face smooth. In the lobby, we passed a printer station for hotel guests. A blank page sat half out of the tray, like someone had started and stopped. The sight made me uneasy for no clear reason. Ethan did not even look at it. He asked Jordan about parking validation and left a tip with a calm hand. In the car afterward, I told Ethan the party needed to be big and happy and loud. I said it would remind everyone we were solid. He asked why we needed other people to believe anything. I said because people judged, and judgment mattered. He asked if I was living for strangers. I said I was living for reality. When we pulled into the driveway, he turned off the engine and sat still for a moment. He asked if I planned to respect him at the party. I laughed and asked if he wanted me to treat him like a king. He said he wanted basic respect, and he wanted me to stop acting like cruelty was a joke. I told him he was overreacting again. I said he was making the party feel like a test. He said it was not a test. He said it was a consequence. I asked what that meant. He looked at me with a face I could not read, and he said he was done arguing and he would handle it properly. The ballroom lights made everyone look softer than real life. The tables had candles and little gold numbers. People kept saying we were goals. I let that word sink into me like a drink. Nina pulled me toward the photo booth corner and said I needed a moment for my page. Caleb was already there, dressed too well for someone who was just a friend. He asked if I felt nervous. I said no and told him to behave. He said he could behave, and he smiled like he did not mean it. I told myself a quick kiss would be a joke, a spark, a harmless little scene. I told myself Ethan had been cold for months, and I deserved 1 second of feeling chosen. I told myself it was not cheating if it did not mean anything. I leaned in and did it, and the flash went off. For half a second I felt proud, like I had proved I still had power. Then I saw phones lift. I saw Jordan's face change near the stage. I saw Ethan look over, not shocked like I expected, but steady, like he had been waiting for an exact time on a clock. Ethan walked to the stage without pushing anyone. He asked Jordan for the mic. Jordan handed it over like he had no choice. Ethan looked at the crowd and said he had an announcement. He did not call me names. He did not shout. He spoke like a man reading a statement. He said we were divorcing, and he said it was already filed. He said he would not discuss details at the party. He said there were temporary arrangements in place for the home and money, and that all contact would go through proper channels from now on. He said his focus was the kids and a calm process. People stopped chewing. Someone laughed once like it was a joke, then went quiet. I walked toward him, but Nina grabbed my wrist and asked what he meant by filed. I said he was bluffing. My voice sounded thin, even to me. In the lobby, guests drifted out in small groups, whispering. A man in a neat suit approached me near the front desk and asked if I was Morwenna Pike. I said yes, and he handed me an envelope and said I had been served. My name was printed in black at the top page. Ethan stood a few steps away, calm, watching like a witness to my own choices. I opened my mouth to speak, but all I could hear was the soft scrape of phones recording.